right, coming up in theaters September the 19th, the new film called The Senior. Now, this tells the true story of Mike Flynt, who after 40 years at the age of 59, returns to his alma mater for a second chance, all at living a dream of playing college football. Now, the film stars Michael Chiklis, who joins me in studio right now. Michael, thank you so very much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about this film and really sort of what drew you to Mike's really incredible and inspirational story.
Well, let me start with that first. You know, as an actor, you're always looking for a great story, right? It starts on the page. I don't care what it is. And then if it leaps off the page and you fall in love, then it's who's making it, right? And in this case, it's, Rod Lurie, who's an incredible director, and Mark Ciardi, who is responsible for a handful of some of the best sports films of all time. And I know
Secretariat is one of them.
Yep. Miracle, which is as a Bostonian.
Yes, of course, please. Yes,
huge,
exactly. Yes.
Also, The Rookie, Invincible. You know, so the guy, he was an MLB pitcher for like 7 seasons, so he knows this. He understands the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. In any case, so to the story. I mean, when does this happen? It's one of those extraordinary stories that you can't believe is true. As a matter of fact, I was very skeptical about it. Mike Flynt, 59 years old. When back in college, he was the captain of his football team. He had come out of Odessa Permian, which is, he was the captain of that team that Friday Night Lights was based on.
Yep, exactly.
And a lot of the guys in that team went to Sul Ross, which is this big-time West Texas Division II football team, right? And he flourished there. He had 3 great seasons. And then in his senior year, captain of the team, they were supposed to go undefeated. He sees a freshman out of the dorms after hours. He tells the kid to get in the dorms. The kid tells him to F himself. He throws down with him, breaks his nose. Next day, he's not only thrown off the team, they throw him out of school. So he's
been living with regret after that.
Yeah, and he's in shame, and he spends the next 37 years of his life, with that on his back. You know, it's the one major regret because he feels like he ruined his fellow teammates' senior year season. They were supposed to be undefeated. They wound up being a 500 team, right? And it ate his guts out, and all of a sudden he gets an invitation to the reunion. And he thought he received it in error. You know, and his wife was like, no, the guys were looking for you. I want you to go down there and get this off your back. So he really went down to Texas to apologize, to just say, guys, I'm so sorry I did this to you guys. And when he got there, they all hugged him and loved seeing him, and he felt really humbled and everything. And they were like, hey, man, you look like you could still run with him. And he's like, well, I probably could. He was a strength trainer. And Texas A&M and big-time schools. And speaking of feeling skeptical, I'm like, really, did this happen? And I met Mike. And you know when you shake someone's hand and they have that inner power?
You just feel it, yeah.
I just was like, oh, you did this. And he was 74 when I met him. And I knew, like, oh my God, this guy's a crocodile. I wouldn't mess with him on a bet. And so I knew it was true. And it's just an extraordinary story. So at its core, it's a redemption tale, which any great sports film is about someone overcoming adversity. Why do we watch the Olympics every 2 years?
So true.
It's not just for the sport. We love the sport,
right?
Of course, but you also love
the underdog story.
The stories of people, overcoming great adversity for their triumph. And this is that. Yeah.
And the thing you mentioned, Mike, obviously this is his story, and he, was helping put this whole movie together. Is it harder as an actor doing a movie where the person of the story is there because you feel the internal pressure that you want to tell their story right?
Yes, and on top of it, he was right there off camera.
That's a lot of pressure.
Dude, like the first day, I was like, okay, he's here, and then he stayed. And I was like, I go over to Rod, I'm like, is he staying? He and Eileen, they're still there. And I was freaked out. I was at first.
Too.
But I guess, he was so unobtrusive, and they were, in a word, they were lovely. He's soft-spoken, really a gentleman. And his wife couldn't be more lovely. By the way, played brilliantly by the national treasure that is Mary Stuart Masterson.
Yep. You've got a great cast, by the way.
Dude.
Also in this, in addition to her,
Yeah.
you've got
Rob
Corddry's in this as well.
Brilliant,
There's all these
funny.
other great guys.
By the way,
that are in this.
Rob Corddry, I want to talk about him for a second. This guy is so known for his comedic abilities.
Right.
And this pathos in this movie, he's going to break your heart. He's going to make you cry your eyes out. The guy's beautiful.
Sometimes those comedians surprise you, and you're like, "Where did this come from?"
Yeah.
Which is so interesting.
Robin Williams and so many
So
others.
true.
Yeah, it's true.
But for you as an actor, I mean, I know you played high school football.
I
Correct
did.
me if
I
I'm
was
wrong.
the captain of my football team.
And then also just sort of the challenges of the acting and presenting world. Did you connect at all with Mike's story when doing this?
Well, sure, because look, man, think about high school. You face palm it all, college.
All the time, yeah.
Right? You go like, oh my God, why did I do that? Why did I
Yeah.
say that? You know what I mean? The way I treated that person, you know? And you want a do-over. You wish you could, do it all over again, you know? So all of us have things, and so much in life is tied into guilt and shame and regret. And those are emotions that I equate with the emotion of jealousy. They're worthless, and they give you nothing, and they hurt you. And anything you can do to reconcile or get past those emotions, do it, and go forward. And that's really the message, the underlying message of this tale. But in a context of a sports film, which, by the way, is awesome, and all the guys in this movie played football, right? We got like Willie Bell, 6'3", 220, unbelievable players. It was daunting for me because though I had played in high school, I hadn't played football in 40 years, right, in a uniform, full tackle football. So I was all piss and vinegar when I started, but then when I got out there, I looked at these guys and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I believe it.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're not on TV. We're fine. This is the internet. You can say whatever you want, Michael.
Holy shit! I made a mistake, is what I said. And especially the first time I ran into Willie Bell, I was like, and he's like, "Bring it, man!" And I'm like, I just brought all of it.
Right.
Oh man.
Also, do you have a different perspective for Mike, given the fact that I think you were the same age when you did this film as he was when he was playing football?
Totally.
So do you almost look at like, wow, this is a lot more difficult than I.
Going back
he's
to
actually
him being
playing
on set.
football.
Going back to him being on set, he was so unobtrusive and lovely, but I think what happened was he was just there. He and his wife were so fascinated by the process of they had never seen a film being made. So they were like kids in a candy store. They were like, we did a light effect of a car light going by a window, and he's like, y'all just do that with the light? I thought that was a car going by. He was fascinated by every detail. It was so cute. But then he became my wellspring. He became my greatest resource, because I would go to him and I would say, "Hey, Mike, how'd you feel about that?" And Eileen, was he a hothead? I was asking questions. I also got an insight, and so did Mary Stuart, of the dynamic between them. It ended up being wonderful that they were on set. It was which I never would have thought.
Right.
Because I've done a bunch of biopictures to different effect. And some miserable failures.
I was gonna say, they're not easy.
No,
they're not
brutal.
easy. A lot of actors will say that.
Sometimes I wonder, why am I doing? You know what I mean? Why would I even take this on again? But it's the story.
Well, let's talk about sports films specifically, because you mentioned a bunch of them, and look, everybody's got their favorite ones, from Rudy to the Natural to
which I love that you brought
Titans.
that up in light of the loss of the great.
Robert Redford.
Robert
Yes,
Redford.
of course. Yes, I'm from Boulder, Colorado. He's a legend at my university. But what is it about sports movies specifically, I think, more than any other genre of film, that connects the underdog story better, I think, than any other film out there, and the redemption story, I think, better than any other one?
Well, you've already touched on a lot of it. I think that, we're connected to our humanity through team play and sports. Look, even theater, I've always looked at. I was that kid in Glee. I was the I was the captain of my football team, but I brought the theater kids together. I brought the heads together that smoked weed. I was I brought everybody together that normally, I was a musician.
Right.
So, and I've always looked at it as team sport, in that it's collaborative, and you come together and for a common purpose, a common goal. And when you're on a team and it's working, there's something incredible about that. And especially if you've ever been on a team that believes in each other and outperforms what anybody expects.
That's the secret sauce.
Oh man, I've always said this about championship teams. And I'm going to get into this. I'm in New York. Sorry.
You got to do it.
I don't have hate in my heart. I don't. For any person, place, or thing. I hate the fucking Yankees. I'm sorry.
That's the Red Sox. That's the Red Sox fan you talking. Which, by the way, we'll talk sports here in just a moment. We'll talk in a second.
I respect them. I tip the hat. But, when we won in 2004, it's because we were the idiots.
Right.
We were the knuckleheads.
Right.
And you saw that chemistry and that fire in the dugout. There were a bunch of guys that were enjoying each other. And I've experienced the joy. Like, let me make it analogous with a television series.
Okay.
When we did The Shield.
Great show, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all the success from that.
Thank you so much. But part of the alchemy is, and the reason it won so much, is the incredible chemistry that we had between each other. And the real love, true heart's love for each other. To this day, I mean, I talk to all of those guys all the time. Walton, CC, Kenny, all those guys. We communicate on the sometimes
you guys still have a group chat?
Yeah. We're all talking.
Is the group chat called The Shield?
No, we have several different ones.
Yes, but still, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, but you can't replace that chemistry,
And it's so anybody who's had that kind of bonding experience with people you love and adore, and you've triumphed together, it is a bond that goes forever. That's it. We're like, okay, and also when you get in a room like that first day of shooting The Shield, some shit went down on set that day that we looked at each other and went, oh, okay, hey, this could be something. I'm not high.
You just felt it. You could feel it. You felt that something was happening with the show, and this was special.
Electric. It was electric from
that's
day one.
That's a good feeling.
And so that's the same kind of a feeling I had on The Senior. I got together with these guys. We did that scene. It was one of the first days, and partly by design. Rod Lurie's a great director for a reason. He, in the schedule, put that fun. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but there's a scene where I'm listening to my old songs, the Rubber Band Man, from the 70s in my Walkman. And I walk in and I can't hear anybody, but I'm dancing myself.
Right. Oh, I've seen the clips of this, and then they're making fun of you in the locker room. Yes.
And he deliberately, because they were all like intimidated by me, the kids, and I so didn't want that, and I wanted them to be okay with me. And once they understood that I was a gamer, and I was just
it all changes.
Have at me. It was a love fest. That was it, and we were a team that day.
Michael, I'm curious, given the fact that the college football landscape has changed so much, with NIL and name, image, and likeness, and all of this stuff. You now have athletes being paid. I wonder if Mike's story, while unique and special in its own right, could happen in this day and age in college football.
That's a great question.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer.
I don't know that I do either. Honestly, probably not.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
which then you sort of you enjoy the uniqueness and the specialty of it because of that.
Yeah. I mean, this is a guy who it was just for the love of the game. Also, it's Division II. It's not D1, and that just changes it a whole. Maybe it still could in a D3 or a D2 team, but still there's the violence, and it's a different climate too. Students are handled differently when they're violent now, and for good reason, because of all this other layer of stuff that's happening. Where this is just a bunch of, they were Texas boys, and he grew up in the oil fields in Texas and with cowboys and roughnecks. And if you were, like Mike said, if you were, if you like to fight, there were plenty of opportunities.
Let's talk sports. Obviously you have dropped a lot in this interview, how much you were a Boston guy.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of memorable, incredible moments for Bostonians in terms of sports. The Brady run with the Patriots. You've got You mentioned
Red Sox.
04 with the Red Sox, which I can only imagine what that was like. You have obviously the Celtics and all of the championships.
I was on the field for 07.
07 against my Colorado Rockies, which obviously the Rockies have never been the same ever since. I guess it would be hard to boil down, but looking back at all of these memories, what to you has been the most special sports Boston moment in your life? Oh my gosh, look at the face. It's like a Christmas present.
I've been very lucky.
You've had a lot of great moments.
I've had a lot of them. Two come to mind.
Okay.
Because they're two major firsts, right? The first Super Bowl championship that the Patriots won in 2002.
Was that the Giants or the Titans?
No,
Who was that?
It was the greatest show on turf.
Against
Rams.
the St. Louis Rams. Yes, I remember that one. That was a wild finish.
LA Rams.
Yes,
at the
time. It was a wild finish. Yes.
So that was the year I won the Emmy and the Golden Globe and the Critics Award and all of these awards. It was an insane year for me. And FX was owned by Fox, and they were Netlet, right?
Yeah.
Fledgling group. And
that was also a great time for FX too, because you had all these new shows coming at that time.
Yes, we were the
first. Yes.
And then Fox was covering the Super Bowl, and my Patriots got into the Super Bowl. So they said, "Hey, you want to go?" And I was like, "Yes." So they sent me got 4 days with the head of publicity, John Solberg, who's one of my dearest friends now. And we went and we spent 4 insane days in New Orleans. And Boston fans are going to love this. Even New York fans can appreciate this, because this is what a chip we had on our shoulders. Vinatieri kicks the field goal, goes through the uprights, and my eyes rack focus through the uprights, because I was on the field at the end of the game. We went down because we were going to go to the sports desk and talk to Terry and those guys.
Yeah.
And I'm on the corner of the field, so boom, he kicks the field goal, it goes through the uprights, and my eyes rack focus to the scoreboard, and it goes to 0, the time. I'm like, and I remember thinking, while I'm screaming, if this happened in a movie, it'd be like 2 cornballs. You know what I mean? The editors would go like, the producers would go like, no one's going to believe this shit. But it happened.
Right.
And we lost our minds, right? The whole place erupts. There were a lot of Boston fans there. And all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, through the crowd, up comes the chant, "Yankees suck."
Oh my God.
Yankees suck.
At the Super Bowl.
At the Super Bowl.
Wow.
You got to understand, it was so long suffering, and it still wasn't 04 yet. We hadn't broken through yet. And that just says, we just won the Super Bowl.
Right.
It was still preoccupied with the Yankees.
Wow,
so that was an incredible,
fascinating.
Yeah, it speaks to our psyche. And
then really quickly, explain the elation and the feeling of being a Red Sox fan and finally winning that first World Series, especially because you had to come from behind in Game 7 of the ALCS to beat the Yankees. I think it was down 3-0. You were down 3-0, and then to come back and win. But I'm just saying, in terms of elation, what is that like to people who are struggling in terms of fandom out there?
Well, I was 40. Right, and I was dyed in the wool. I was that guy, 10th inning, ninth inning, 10-0, sitting in the crowd in the rain. I won't leave. I was that guy. I really was I was at Fenway Park. I went to college at Boston University, which is in Kenmore Square, and I was always there. I'd go and learn my Shakespeare lines in the cheap seats with my guys and I. Whatever show we were doing, we'd get $4 bleacher seat tickets, a beer and a hot dog, and we'd sit there and
study your lines.
Did I, the son of a dear father, slain? Go! Yes, true. What was it like? Well, my yaya, my grandmother. I'm a Greek, so yaya. Probably the only bigger Red Sox fan than I am, right? Cooking with one hand, rubbing my head with the other, and going, "Get out of here!" Screaming at the television. She was a huge Red Sox fan. 86 years old. I'm in Vancouver shooting the Fantastic Four. I am sitting with a bottle of 25-year-old Macallan, and I won't pull the cork. Because remember, we're the Boston Red Sox.
Right, you want to jinx
and
it.
we've blown it so many times that I won't pull the cork. Even though we're up the 3 games, and we're winning the.
Right,
This is
right,
it against
right.
St. Louis, and I'm just waiting. And the third out comes, and I pull the cork and I start screaming like an insane person.
Yes.
I go to the windows, and the poor Canadians. I'm like, the Bambino's dead. He's dead, and I'm screaming, and they're looking up at me, and my phone rings, and I go, ah, and it's my grandmother.
Oh my gosh,
And
no
she goes,
way.
the last time these fucking guys did this, I was 1. So that's
being
how
able
it
to
felt
enjoy that with
my
her.
grandmother.
Oh, that is so wonderful.
And don't feel bad about this. Don't. Because shortly after that, she passed away.
But that was
and
the
I swear
moment. Yes.
that she just went,
Yep.
I'm good. I'm going to
don't-
go be with Papuli.
To be honest, don't blame her. Be honest, you do it. That's amazing. We have to end it on that because that is the perfect way to end this. By
Yeah.
the way, the new film, The Senior, out in theaters September the 19th. The great Michael Chiklis. Thank you so very
How
much.
fun.
Thank you
Really
so much.
nice talk-
And we got a lot
talking
more
to you.
Front Office Sports today headed your way right after this quick break.